Well, hey everybody. Welcome to week 15. This is the week 15 lecture and guidance for our final project. Woohoo! We're almost done. Almost to the finish line. So, no surprise, I'm using a trauma-informed approach to learning in this time, and these 4 items are taken into account. The time limit for this lecture is approximately 20 minutes. I will probably split it up between part 1 and part 2 at a reasonable point in the lecture. The plan is to offer reminders, including our next Zoom meeting link, provide the lecture, and then a brief summary. So here are some reminders. Today is the last day to drop. It is April 28th, Tuesday. If you're interested in dropping, please talk to your advisor. The last day to decide about pass-fail is May 22nd, which is after finals week. Regardless, please talk to your advisors about anything advising related. The last 3 assignments still remaining are quiz 2 if you haven't taken it. About 30% of the class has taken it. Quiz 3 is also due on May 7th, and then the final project, which is what we're talking about today, is due to Canvas by 11:59 on May 12th. And if you let me know before the 12th, I can accept your submission until the 15th. But for reasons related to my grading flow, where my grades are due, I need to know beforehand so that I can organize. So please let me know. More reminders about the final project. To find the guidelines, you go to Canvas Final Project module. Contact me if you would like to meet one-on-one. I'm happy to do that. And then on that note, the syllabus indicates that meetings with instructor happen next week. I'm not going to put a sign up. I tried to sign up with a class and it didn't work. So I'd like to just have you email me if you'd like to meet. Then here's a reminder of our next Zoom meeting, which is this Thursday, 2 days from now. It starts at 2 p.m. There are 2 actually, because Zoom only allows a free 40 minutes for participants of more than 1-to-1. So I'm offering 2 meetings back to back. They will be a continuation. So if you'd like to talk about the final project, please do join at the 2 p.m. mark, and then we'll just continue to 3 p.m. Here are the links. More reminders, if you're working in a group of up to 3 students, please email me by Thursday, the 30th, to let me know who is in your group. We need to divide up the work together, or at least you can tell me who's doing what, because this is the safeguard that I promised would be in place if you worked in a group. Please email me and talk to me about the group project before you start. So let's get into the final project. Please review last week's slides if you haven't. It explains the given circumstances and magic if. It explains what those are, and those are pivotal to this project. I'm happy to explain also one-on-one if you prefer. And then also this lecture should help you a little bit understand that. But really, if you don't know what those are, please go back, stop now and go back and review the lecture slides from week 14. Please do read the final project module. It includes, but is not limited to, these 4 items. It includes the PDF of the play script, Harvey, which is what we're designing from. You cannot complete this project without reading that. It won't work. Then I've also offered a link to the film, which is optional, but some people really like that. And you can kind of see the, how the characters act and that sort of thing, and that might be helpful. And then I've also included the design thinking interview template, which is pivotal to the project as well. We're revisiting that. You may or may not remember it from so long ago, but we used the design thinking interview template to interview a classmate about their ideal wallet. So that's the template I'm talking about, and you'll see that here in the slides. And then I've given you a handy checklist for what to turn in. So if you use, all sorts of, all points, what am I trying to say? If you use the checklist and you read the play and you follow the slides, I think you'll have an enjoyable time, and there'll be sort of multiple ways to understand the material. So the goals for this portion of the lecture are to remind us about what given circumstances and magic if are, and I am abbreviating them as G, C, and MI. I'll discuss the anatomy of a play script, since I would really be remiss in my duties if I assumed we've all read a play before. Many of us haven't. We've seen a play maybe, or some of us haven't seen a play, but most of us probably haven't read a play, and so I'm going to show you how to read that. And then number 3 here is how to use the playwright's symbolism and metaphor to gain insight for our designs, which to me is part of the fun part. Okay, so we're reminding ourselves that the GC, the given circumstances, are the script. They're either the script for the character that we're working with or the person's reality. So we've done it both ways in class. We interviewed somebody in class about their perfect wallet, and so that ends up being their script. The interview ends up being their script. The given circumstances are the facts of the play. This is the person's life from their perspective. It's also called their worldview. Playwrights provide us with given circumstances. And here's the big hint. If you can't put your finger on it in a script, literally, then it's probably not a given circumstance. And I'm going to show you what that means. But these items here are important. If you would like more in-depth explanation of what I mean about the blueprint for the person's life, please don't hesitate to contact me. It's important that we understand what we're at liberty to change and what we're not. Again, the given circumstances are useful for designers and theater makers. Why? We're asking ourselves that. For one thing, it gives us, as collaborators, the same jumping off point. So another way to say that is it provides structure so that we can have freedom. So the given circumstances are the foundation for our design, and then we can use our imagination and empathy, which is the freedom, also as magic if. So here's some connections for us. How do the given circumstances and magic if relate to the final project? Valid question. So the first thing you'll need to do is find the given circumstances. So I'm offering an anatomy of a script, and what I have here is an actual part of a page. This is page 7 from the play you're using, Harvey, and I've expanded it so you can see. But if, so far it's just words on a page, so I need to show us what we're looking for. If you've never read a play, almost 100% of the time, the character names are on the right side of, left, excuse me, whatever side this is, left side of the script. And sometimes you'll see them in the middle, like right here, but almost always they're on the right-hand side. In this particular script, they're written in capitals, and there's a period at the end. So here's the character of Elwood. We also have Mrs. Chauvenet, which I didn't circle. We have Veta. We have Myrtle, and here's Mrs. Chauvenet again, and Elwood and Veta. So you can see down here that Veta is written in capital letters with a period, and then whatever line the character would speak comes afterward. So to recap, character names are always in this script on the left-hand side, written in capitals with a period at the end. Then the blue here is called stage directions. Stage directions are written in general, italics, which is this font here where it's kind of leaning to one side to the right. It's also in parentheses. And what that means is that is not spoken. That is meant to be read. And so this character of Elwood would look at his line and he'd say, okay, so I'm supposed to, do I say this? No, I don't say this part here because it has parentheses. I just know that the playwright wanted me to know that I would be coming forward and bowing as I take the person's hand. You can see the closed parentheses here. There's stage directions here as well. Moves forward quickly, takes hold of her. Those are called stage directions. They are not spoken. I'll show you what is spoken. This part in green here is spoken. Notice that it's not written in italics. Notice that it comes after the stage directions. And you would speak this part. So Elwood's line here is, Aunt Ethel, what a pleasure to come in and find a beautiful woman waiting for me. That's his line. Then Mrs. Chauvenet would look and say, oh, I'm supposed to say this. Do I say this part here? No, I don't. It's in parentheses and it's in italics. So I say, Elwood, you haven't changed. So this is the anatomy of a play script. This is the characters' names. You need to know who's speaking. You need to know what the playwright intended the play might look like. So, oops, I'm so sorry. The blue part, the stage directions, are almost always written in italics and or parentheses. It's not dialogue. Then almost everything else is considered dialogue. Okay, so now what? Now you know that this is the anatomy of a play. You know what you're looking for, but so what? So now you need to read the whole play. The film is there to assist you, but the play is what the rubric is being made from. If you want to watch the film, kudos to you. It's delightful, and I do recommend it. But if you can only do one thing, if you only have time, you absolutely must read the play. If you have time, you can watch the film, but we absolutely must read the play. Then while you're reading the play, my suggestion is to annotate as you read, which means make notes in the script as you read. And what you're making notes about are his given circumstances. Elwood, his given circumstances. So note anything that affects his worldview, his circumstances, and what others say about him. So that's why we need to know what dialogue is and what the playwright is telling us. We need to know the delineation between those things so we know who's speaking. Once you've done these things up here, you can begin to use your imagination. But for the love of all that's holy, please don't use your imagination until you've read the entire script. It's a delightful script. It's actually a comedy. So I think it should be fun. So now we have written back here, we have written some given circumstances, which are the facts of the play. The items were not allowed to change about the person's life. And we can apply the magic if. So we need to remind ourselves what the magic if is. And just by coincidence, I don't know if you remember, but I put this bunny here a long, long time ago, and it actually connects to Harvey quite well. So the bunny is telling us what the magic if statement is. This is the magic if statement. If I were this character in these circumstances, how might I behave or react? So let's break that down a little bit. We're going to apply the magic if to the given circumstances. The given circumstances were facts that you found in the play, and you're going to ask yourself this: if I were Elwood in these circumstances, how might I behave or react? Well, what we need to know first is what circumstance we're referring to, because up here it says, if I were Elwood in these circumstances, how might I behave or react? We don't know what circumstance we're in yet. So what we're going to do is choose something that we identified in the play. So this is where your notes come in. Your given circumstances can be small pieces of information. Here are some examples. On page whatever it is that you identify, Elwood says blank. So this is where you would look, what did Elwood say? You're not looking here, this is what the playwright said, which we'll get to, but you're looking at the green part. What did Elwood say? What a pleasure to come in and find a beautiful woman waiting for me. Now that may or may not be informative, but we know he said it. Another idea is this part in red here where it says on page whatever, the playwright indicates in the stage directions that Elwood did something. Note that the stage directions are always telling the actor who is playing that character what to do or how to say something. That can be important for us because we are looking for behavior based on a character's circumstance. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video right now. I'm going to go to part 2, but if you'd like to review up to now, that would be helpful because we're going to be moving forward with this information and we need to know how to apply it. Okay, I'll be back.